Good day to you
Hi.
all. How are you all doing? How are you doing, Ina?
Hey everyone, I'm here to give you the fun fact of the day. Do you know what day it is today?
316.
Yeah, but what day is it?
It's 316 day. Stone
Yeah,
Cold Steve Austin.
it's National Everything You Do Is Right Day.
Are you hearing that, boss? Everything we do is right.
Yeah, and March 15th, yesterday, was Everything You Think Is Wrong Day.
You are full of useless facts, aren't you, Ina?
They're not useless facts.
Anyway, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Talking with Demons. You're with me, the heavy metal pirate, and with our Grecian goddess, Ina. And tonight we've got a Rammer's show for you. We've got a lovely band that's coming on in a minute. However, before we do that, I've got to give you some news because I'm quite excited because loads of bands have just released loads of new music in the last 2 weeks. Mainstream bands, obviously, we like to give a little bit of mainstream love. So Deftones released their new album, Ohms, a couple of weeks ago. Absolute banging album. I've been listening to it quite a lot recently. Sabaton just released their new album. If anyone loves history through metal, you're going to love a little bit of Sabaton. They've just released the War to End All Wars. Who else? Korn have just released their new one as well, Ride.Will. Another blinding album. If you love a little bit of old school new metal, you're going to love a little bit of Korn. Then we've got a little bit of Amorphis. They've just released their new album, Halo, and Annihilator have also released their album, Metal 2. Some top quality albums, and there's definitely more to come. However, tonight's show, we've got you an absolute blinding band that hails out of the United Kingdom, and they are Just a Ride. Now, Just a Ride, a phenomenal band, and we're going to bring on two individuals, Rod and Drew. So let's bring them on, boss.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
How is everyone?
How's it going? How's your day been?
It's been.
So the common phrase would be living the dream. However, technically living a nightmare because a nightmare is a dream, right?
Well, yeah, there is that. Yeah.
That's what I stick by anyway. Anyway, how are you guys doing? And welcome to the show, by the way.
Oh, thanks for having us on.
Yeah, man, it's been great. Yeah, we've been busy boys. Obviously, put out the record a few weeks ago. It's been really well received. It's great to finally put out something that gets good reviews. I always wondered what that felt like.
Which is a bonus. Anyway, before we get into that, what I want you guys to do, obviously we've had a little bit of a chat backstage. Drew coming a little bit late because work and everything else. However, what I want you to do is talk to us about your band, what you are, who you are, and what you guys are doing.
Go on, Drew. Smash it out.
Smash it out and I wanna. Okay, so our band's called Just a Ride. We've been a band now for a few years. We've just released our debut album. And we're an alternative, grungy rock band, trying to bring back the spirit of the 90s, as it were, with our music. Huge fans of bands like Stone Temple Pilots, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, Jane's Addiction, just huge amounts of that. And we're kind of we just realized there wasn't enough of that. So we're just like, hang on a minute, let's do the things we love to do. And
man, there's been like a big revival in that kind of like bluesy kind of
really
rock.
has.
And that's all great. We love that sort of music, but the music
rock
we really can connect with, I guess as we get older, grunge is becoming classic rock, isn't it? So
this is it. I think the thing is, I think you're exactly right. Like I had this conversation the other day. It's like, I had an interview about it the other day. We're saying like, people would probably call Stone Temple Pilots classic rock now because it's 25 years old, and the rest. But if you talk about the bands, what we're talking about when we say classic rock is like, I think it's called vintage rock now, isn't it? Vintage rock, like Deep Purple and all like the Zeppelins and.
I mean, you could probably class them as classical now.
Yeah, almost.
Yeah, it's like.
I mean, dude, music from the
like
60s,
the Romantic period.
Music from the 60s. So, like what? Like early Sabbath is going to be 60 years old soon.
That's mental.
That's nuts. Because when you think about it, like we're kids of the 90s and early 2000s. So if you were to go back, that'd be like listening to music from 1930. It's weird, like from when we were kids. And it's just amazing that there's just so much more rock music kicking around, and like the fact that it's stuck around. There's still you find like even young bands that like Greta Van Fleet, they came out and everyone was like, oh, they sound like Led Zeppelin. I don't think it's cool that young kids want to sound like Led Zeppelin. Like that's awesome.
like a classic band, bringing effectively reinvigorating something that was so great back then, bringing it to new ears. So
Absolutely.
I completely agree with you.
Yeah, I mean there was a whole like 70s revival, wasn't there? Like back along, and then it's like as each decade passes, it's like there's an 80s revival, and then there's like like you see I see like youngsters dressing like they got the big hair and like they were dressed like the 80s, and you're just like, man, didn't we do this? Like, didn't we,
what goes around comes around. I believe
exactly. I mean, like, you know, it's like wedding singer nostalgia again. Do you know?
Yeah.
Just need more Billy Idol in my life.
Great, true fact, great film, and I love Billy Idol. I mean,
mate.
that man, what is he, 60? He's just turned 60 something now.
Really?
And he's still shredded. I mean,
mate.
if I get
I
to
saw him
60 and
live
look
a
like
few years
him.
ago.
Say again?
I saw him live a few years ago. It was amazing. I love his guitarist, Steve Stevens. He's one of my favorite guitarists.
The man is a legend.
Yeah.
I'll tell you who I saw today on an advert, and I'm like, how can you look that good? Is Bryan Adams, and he's still like, he hasn't aged since the 90s. He's still like late 90s. He started to look a bit old, and he's just stayed like that for the last 20, maybe even more years. It's crazy.
He's just released a new song.
Gravelly voice.
I mean, arguably, Ozzy Osbourne still looks like Ozzy Osbourne from the 60s. He really hasn't changed. You just know when looking at him that is Ozzy. He's just got a little bit of grey hair, and he stumbles a little bit.
He's always been a bit. But the thing is, I think he's always looked old.
Yeah.
Because of all the drugs he did. So you're just sitting there going like, yeah, okay. So when he was 20, he looked like he was about 80. So
Rockstar's life.
Rockstar's life.
So, Rod, what are you within the band? And Drew, what are you within the band? Let's talk about the band itself.
I am the lead singer of Just a Ride.
Stroke business coordinator, stroke leader, stroke.
Yeah. I am the unstoppable force behind the meteoric rise of Just a Ride.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm the guy who kicks everybody's ass and gets us moving in the right direction.
My ass, kicks everyone's ass.
Yeah.
Which is great. I'm the guitarist, sort of music writer in the band, you know, but along with Rod, like we write write it all together. But
you got the two best ones, definitely.
Yeah. You got the riffs, and you've got the whatever. Yeah, I don't know.
Riffs and the range.
Riff and the range. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, you know, Alex, he's lovely and all, and he is probably the most entertaining out of a lot of us, but he doesn't know how to work all this stuff. It would just blow his mind.
It blows his mind like this is happening right now. But he's a great drummer, and that's why I got in the band. So it's just like, well, you know, go with that.
We gotta have him next time. So you've been a band for you've been a band for 7 years now?
On and off, yeah. So really, I mean, yeah, yes and no. I like to kind of really sort of say the last 3, 4 properly, but it's what it was. The project kind of started, and then we've all kind of done bits. It started off as like a writing project, like me and Rod. It was sort of my idea really, and I kind of was like, I was looking for a band to put together because exactly this. I was like, I want to write the music I want to write, and I need to find people that want to write that with me. And then I managed to sort of put this band together. And it took time to put together and get the right people involved. And
yeah, we had a few obstacles.
A few obstacles along the way, you know, there's been a few things, but always is, isn't there? You just got to go through it, you know, wherever it is. But, you know, about 3 years ago, we finally kind of went, look, can we just finish this record? Let's write this album. Let's get it done. You know, because like I'm a working musician. So I'm always off on tour and doing other bits and bobs, you know, and Rod's you know, everyone's got lives and stuff. And it's like but we actually sort of knuckled down about 3 or 4 years ago and went, right, let's turn this into a thing. Let's make this work, you know. And lo and behold, I can't believe it. We've got an album out, you know, it's incredible, you know. So it's just a bit of perseverance really with it all. From just an idea I had, I was like, I want to write this type of music, and then, you know, getting Rod. I mean, I've known Rod anyway from, you know, we were sort of in a band before when we were younger, and it's just great to kind of like actually see it kind of sort of come out, you know.
Nice. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll give the viewers a nice little listen to a little bit of Just a Ride. So what I want you to do, boss, is I want you to bang on a little bit of Not Enough. Hopefully. We got to wait for the boss. Damn,
Oh,
that was
wow.
a tasty track. Yeah, I love it.
Thank you very
Your
much.
voice, Rod, it's bugging me because I've been listening to the album for the last couple of days. Your voice reminds me of someone, and I just can't pinpoint it. It's just awesome. I've heard this voice before. I just can't pinpoint it.
Yeah, a few people.
It's the compliment as well.
I think Rod's voice. Well, that's what I like about Rod's voice. It's really it's unique. You know, that's what I think. That's what I remember. A few people saying that as well. You know, I don't know if that's bad or good, but but no, it's unique and it's good and it really suits the band. It's got that kind of like Wheeler-esque type.
Who's it? Steve J always talks about Jizzy Pearl.
Oh, it keeps. Yeah, I've heard.
I don't hear that.
Mate, you sound nothing like Jizzy Pearl. Promise you.
Yeah.
Someone also said like enough's enough the other day. I was like, can people stop comparing it to like these 80s bands?
Oh, well, you mentioned that. I was just about to say a little bit of Vince Neil in there as well.
Really?
Yeah. There's that little twang, obviously, in the English accent. I'm like,
that
it
unique.
sounds familiar. I just
Vince
can't
Neil-
place it.
Vince Neil's got a really unique voice as well. You know,
Had a
like-
unique voice.
I know you were
Yeah.
talking about. I overheard you guys talking about the Motley Crue thing before. You were saying about, "Oh, speak to me about the John Corabi thing," you know. And like, I do love that album. That's my favorite Motley Crue album. But you know, that's a band that's like the sum of all parts. You know, where it's like you need Vince Neil's voice. I love that Motley Crue record, but I don't think it's Motley Crue. They could have called it something else, you know. But it's still a great album, regardless of what brand you put over it or name. But the actual what we call Motley Crue, like you need that Vince Neil. You know,
it's the iconic side of it, isn't it?
Well, let's look all of them. They are literally the sum of all parts. That band, like they've gone out without Tommy Lee before, and it's like just doesn't work, you know.
Now, going back to the song "Never Not Enough," what an absolute corker! And correct me if I'm wrong. That's the lead track off your album, or one of your lead tracks, or one of your released singles off the album.
Yeah, it was like the first. It was the first single that came out first thing. It's not the first single that came out, but it's the one that led up to the record that we released in early January, and then we've released another single since for the album lead as well. So, we released two, haven't we? Rod?
Yeah, gone a bit mad with singles, to be honest.
Just
But I
shoving
don't
them
know
out.
how
We're
to
just
rate
like, listen to this, listen to this, listen to this. You know.
What's the boss
So,
saying? Oh, sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I meant to say, Rod, did you write the lyrics for Not Enough?
Yes, I did.
No, I did. Not really. No.
Want to talk,
Rod's like, what?
want to talk about that a bit?
Yeah,
Is it like
sure.
from
So,
personal
I mean,
experience or?
yeah, it was I tell you what, the whole like COVID lockdown, you know, summer of 2020 was a real kind of like big moment for us. I mean, there are positives that came out of it. It really made us realize how important music was. And it was really, I guess, the catalyst for us to get the record over the line, get it finished, get the recording sessions booked in. Not Enough was actually one of the last songs to be written, and it was written during like a really, really difficult time in the pandemic. And I'd like basically started a business in like January 2020. So by the time March hit, it was curtains. The song is really about a lot of the kind of struggles that I was going through, where I don't know, I was really questioning, like, you build up all this energy, all this momentum into kind of trying to do something that you've been pursuing for a long time, and it all just falls apart. And the question was like, have you actually got enough to, just go back to square one, get off the floor and just keep going? And, the first verse was very much written about like, wow, I've taken it all for granted. Like, what's going on? And, and then the Not Enough chorus, although it's the same in both, to me, it was kind of a little bit of a challenge. And the second verse is very much like realizing, yeah, I am up to the challenge, and kind of trying to be motivational in that way. So, it was a difficult time, but, in those times you find out kind of what you're really made of. You find out what's really important. And for us, music is that thing that's so important. And, this probably was a catalyst to get out a lot of feelings and all that all that kind of stuff. But yeah, you know, positive things can come out of horrible situations, you know. And I think that's probably, I guess, you know, we want to set like a positive message, and you know, in a very negative world, and Not Enough is kind of like the archetypal song of what we like to do with that.
I mean, it's almost anthemic in a way as well. It's such a catchy tune, and I think it's absolutely great. Yeah, kudos and the hats off, sir.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, it's definitely anthemic. It's pretty tasty, to be fair, and I enjoyed it. As I hope everybody else enjoyed it as well. If you didn't, get off, go.
Yeah, we don't want you here.
No, it's a kick-ass song. Kick-ass song. I wrote a review about it a month ago, I remember. And what struck me most was Not Enough, I Can't Be This. That was it for me. I loved it.
Yeah, you know, and yeah, it's like that really sums it. You know, you're feeling sorry for yourself. You feel like you're giving up, and like that last line, like, I can't be this. Like, I've got to be more. You know, I've got to be more. I am more than this. You know, you can kind of get the mojo back a little bit. You know, and it did also reflect back. You know, I was in a band with Drew like 20 years ago, and you know, it was when I was very young. Did the whole like major label thing, got kind of chewed up and spat out by the industry, and walked away from music until Drew kind of until we reconnected and did Just a Ride. So again, it also, like, you know, I guess plays into some of those things, like, you know, don't give up, keep going, you know.
I rescued Rod from a life of normal.
Yeah, normal. It was brilliant.
Dust yourself off and fucking fly through.
Thanks for dragging me back in. Thanks. You know,
yeah, it's all good.
But because of that, we got an album out of you, so even better.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, you know, really proud of it. You know, really the whole album. Really, it's come out really well. You know,
it is a great album. Now, we do like talking music. However, we like going down rabbit holes as well, because that wouldn't be in the Demon Media if we didn't go down rabbit holes. So, crayons. What's your favourite flavour?
Gold.
Why?
It's luxurious.
What about you, Drew?
What's my favorite flavor of crayon?
Yep.
Hint: there is a wrong answer.
Really?
Just so you know. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But we're not doing theirs on this, so you're all right.
Blue. Okay. Do you approve, Jace?
Sort of. However, we were speaking quickly backstage, and we were talking about things that happen. Now, you guys obviously played with each other quite a bit in a non-sexual manner, unless you've done sexual manners, in which case that's fine. What's the craziest thing you've ever seen? Say again?
I don't kiss and tell.
Still early days. Well,
you might as well just give it up. What's the craziest thing you've seen whilst, you know, gigging?
What, in this band or just in general?
Well, a bit of everything. Why not?
Well, this band, we haven't really done like loads of like tour or anything yet. But I don't know, actually. I've never really I mean, Rod, you've probably got better stories than me, like from, you know.
Yeah, you look like the deviant one, Rod.
I saw. I remember being really innocent. I don't know if this is slander. I don't think it is. But I remember watching Marilyn Manson from the side of the stage at Brixton Academy, because my old band, our agent was Marilyn Manson's agent, and he had an oxygen machine beside the stage. And I had no idea what that was for, but I think it might have something to do with like illicit drugs. But that was a bit like, you know, what's he got this for? And I remember saying to my manager, I was like, should I get an oxygen machine at the side of the stage? She goes, not if you stay off the heroin.
Amazing. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, that was a bit of a wild ride. I also went. What was it? I saw the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and I saw them again from the side of the stage, because this same agent, she looked after the Chili's as well. And after the show, it was on the By the Way. Is it By the Way? Is that that album? And at the after show party, I think it was the same night that they'd done the premiere of the Royal Tenenbaums. So there was like Gwyneth Paltrow, and that was before she met Chris Martin, I think. But Owen Wilson was there, Wes Anderson was there, Luke Wilson was there. It was crazy. And I remember just having like a proper like talk to Owen Wilson, and he was just like, he's literally exactly like his character in that movie. It was so weird. I wasn't even sure if he was still method acting, but I was just like completely just, this is really strange. And our drummer at the time, he actually went up to Gwyneth Paltrow. He touched her on the arm and went, "Are you real?" Which we got told off for.
Now, the question I'm going to ask you, although you've met Gwyneth Paltrow or seen her, did you buy one of her candles?
No, I remember there was something strange about her candles.
Yeah, apparently they smell like fish. I mean, like her vagina.
Oh, really? That's definitely what I want my house to smell like.
Fish.
Gwyneth Paltrow, specifically. Do you know what I've always wondered? Right, you go to sex shop, right, and they have like prosthetic vaginas that are modelled on a specific porn star. But how are you supposed to know? Like, it could be anything.
It could be. I mean, to be fair, if you're using it, it's only going to last 3 minutes anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Let's face it.
That's funny.
On a good day.
On a good day.
Well, yeah, like so in like my previous band, I remember like sort of watching Prophets of Rage from the side of the stage and things like that, and like I went for a wee. No, I went for a wee, and then I let the drummer have a wee after me, and all that, just weird things like that, but nothing major really. I mean, I don't know. There's lots of things because I play for shall I say it, Rod? Am I allowed to say it? Yeah, I play for Culture Club. I play for Boy George. That's like my main gig. And yeah, you get to meet some funny people backstage, but that's different now as well because they're older. So it's not really like let's do loads of drugs. They've told me some funny stories about doing some drugs with like Eddie back of Eddie Van Halen's dressing room in Detroit, but that's about it really. But you know, back telling me some stories of the 80s and saying, and he looked at me, the guitarist Roy, he went, "Oh mate, you missed the 80s." I was like, you know, yeah, I was a little kid, but it's like I think for them it was glorious time, you know.
Didn't they get so messed up they forgot to turn up at Live Aid?
Something like that. I don't know. I don't know the full story. I haven't really asked, but it's all those stories like long gone. Like they don't do that anymore. You know, they're grown. You know, they're old men now. But like my tour stories, not really. There's no real like. I'm maybe a bit sensible on tour. I don't know. You know.
Yeah, you're a professional, mate.
That's the problem.
So we got two professional musicians on the show. Well, that's the end of the show. See you later.
I was already ready to quit when I saw his camera and the pink background.
The pink in the background. Yeah, I mean that's uber professional.
It's really uber.
Why do you look so good? Why?
I've done his hair and everything.
It's ridiculous.
Lovely stuff.
So our boss Sid that you met in the back, he's had a fun couple of days. He's just found loads of pictures and stuck his face on every single one of them. Now, if I shout the word Veet
on the guy from the next one. Lambs.
Yeah. Right. Boss put on Veet. He's got to find it now. This is got that like you, 'cause you got that something that I need.
Yeah, that word he uses, our safe word. I'm not gonna say it again because the video is gonna pop up again. But yeah, that word is our safe word.
Yeah. So if anything goes wrong, just shout V.
Yeah. So, shush. No. Anyway, circling back to us. Well, you are kind of touring now. You have back-to-back gigs lined up.
Yeah, we've got a few shows coming up next week. We're in Nottingham. We're supporting a band called the Timeouts, who we're then taking out on the road with us, and they're going to be supporting us the day afterwards in Newcastle. And then the week afterwards, we're in London on Monday night supporting our friends in the Crooked 45, and then we're going up north of the border. We're going to be in Edinburgh on the 30th of March at Bannerman's. And then on the 31st, we're going to be at the 13th Note in Glasgow. So we're going up to the big cities in Scotland. I'd love to actually later on explore Scotland a bit more. There are some really good gigs in like Dundee, in Aberdeen, but it was just a little bit too much for us this time. But, you know, we're going to be playing throughout the year. So hopefully we'll be back and exploring the Highlands with a bit of grunge soon.
Nice.
Do you have any plans?
Sorry, you know, what I like in a minute is the UK scene right now is popping. There's so many top quality underground bands right now that are smashing out music. And it's great to see. I think COVID has actually been, like you said earlier, it's been a blessing in disguise. Okay, there's been the terrible stuff, but what we've seen in the last 2 years is so many bands pumping out music and making a stamp on the scene. And I think the Nottingham area is probably, it's quite a burgeoning scene right now. There's a lot of bands coming out of Nottingham. You mentioned Nottingham area. In fact, I believe you come from Nottingham as well, correct?
Well, I'm based in Nottingham, yeah. So
we're kind of a bit everywhere. That's what makes the band a bit sort of unique as well. Like actually, me and Rod used to live in London, but we don't anymore. Like, so Rod lives in Nottingham, I live in Hampshire, and drummer lives in Leeds, and the bass player, he's just sort of north of London, where is he? Hemel, St Albans, Hertfordshire, a bit more around there. But it's fine, you know. We'll go to Rod's, you know. We go central, and it's a really good place to kind of not, you know, shoot to rehearse. It's just you know, we can all just go to Rod's for a few days. We don't need to be in each other's pockets, you know, like every week for a rehearsal. You know, we're grown-ups and we've done this before, so we can just write the songs. And we've always written, like when we went to lockdown, it didn't really affect our writing because it was just, we've always written. So the band started, like, you know, we just send each other emails with songs. And Rod, we've all got, I personally like writing on my own here. This is my studio. And then I like sending it to Rod, and Rod can do the same and just focus on, you know, we're not a jamming band. So it's great to be able to just write the songs and then get together, and we can have 2 or 3 days together going through parts and stuff. So, which is nice. Yeah.
I've just heard a cat being run over.
Oh, it's not good. I hope it's not mine.
Oh, well, don't like cats anyway, so it's fine.
Oh, thanks.
You can reverse over it 8 times.
Anyway, what I meant to ask was, what are your plans for the rest of 2022?
Well, it's just churn out more and more hits. I mean, we've already started recording the next batch of songs. We've got actually the next singles even out on the 8th of April, and that's actually part of a split we're doing with our friends from the band Ultra Apex. So it's like a little project where, you know, one of the funny things about, like, you know, the way the band has developed and putting stuff out on platforms like Spotify is, you know, for both bands, like our very early tracks are the ones that when we, you know, kind of put the album together, you know, they were like the strongest songs, we thought. And it's just weird to us that they're the ones that got the least attention, but that's just because of like how the industry is. So what we decided to do is we decided to get together with Ultra Apex, and we're both covering like our basically our debut singles, and we're putting it out. So we're going to do a version of their song, So Yeah, and they're going to do our song, I Want to Know. And we're basically releasing 2 splits on the same day. One of them has obviously the cover, and then one has a remix from the album. So our one is going to be So Yeah, and it's going to be the radio edit of our song No Way Out. And then after that, like we pretty much are on a mission. Like we want to grow the band. We want to be, you know, we don't necessarily need to be Bon Jovi. You know, we don't need to be selling out stadiums. It'd be lovely if it happened. But you know, we definitely want to like make our presence known especially in the UK scene. You know, we've got targets of where we want to be. We want to be hitting up, you know, the Aldeas, the festivals. We want to be doing gigs to 100, 200 people a night, you know, and that's our goal. That's what we want to do. And to do that, you know, you just need to be prolific. And, you know, yeah, we've got like basically a new track coming out every 6 weeks. It's how you build momentum. It's how people get to know you. And you will be looking to do gigs all throughout the year. You know, we've got some cool like little festival slots here and there. We want to build on that. We want to be, you know, the go-to band if anybody pulls out, you know, that there's this up and coming band that's ready to take slots. But really building for kind of 2023, like in terms of the festival scene. We'd love to do, you know, another tour at the end of the year, maybe once we've built up a bit more momentum, and see if we can take it to the next level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. Well, that being said, I think it's a perfect time to listen to I Want to Know.
Yeah.
So this is my favorite, but there you go.
Yeah.
Boss, stick it on.
And we're at it again. Back to the beginning. Do we ever learn things? Won't you tell me what you wanted to say? Won't you tell me? Now you say it's the end. How can I believe that it wasn't worth it? I wanna know why you're running. I wanna know what's wrong with me. I wanna go where you're going. Tell me, please. Well, it all sounds the same. Still stuck in the middle of a cycle I can't change. Won't you tell me what you wanted to say? Won't you tell me? So you think I'm afraid? How can I believe that it wasn't coming? I wanna know why you're running. I wanna know what's wrong with me. I wanna go where you're going. Tell me, please. I wanna know why you're running. I wanna know what's wrong with me. I wanna go where you're going. Tell me, please.
Bravo,
Another
you
great
guys.
track.
Thank you.
Yeah. And it was in the comments a little bit earlier. There's a little bit of Stone Temple Pilots in there as well. That nice little riff in the background. You're like, oh, that's a nice little sound.
Which
However, what
riff?
I've got to say is, Rod, I hate you purely for your fact that your hair seems to be perfect in everything you do. Really annoying.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Coiffured.
However, what we got to do before we go into anything else, I want to say hello to everyone that's been writing in the comments. Boss, if you can pull them up, we'll just say a little bit of a hello. Something I forgot to do a little bit earlier, so I do apologise, gents. We just randomly do stuff. However, Dan, how you doing?
Hey, Dan. Hey, MB.
Hey, Raven.
Hey, Raven.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, Bob.
Raven.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, Bob.
And I believe Kevin McCarty's
also,
in there as well. There's quite a few anyway. Sorry.
Nice.
But hello to everyone out there that's watching.
Yeah. Also, mad props to your videographer. Wow,
Yeah.
amazing video. I loved it.
Well, that was that's a funny story in itself. Yeah, that's a long story. But the chap who did the video. So we've had a couple of bass players. I don't even notice there's a couple of different bass players there.
3.
So 3. We've had 3 so far. And so the original guy in that video. So that video is Eddie. And Eddie's a really good friend of ours and still is. And he's actually going to be playing on some of the newer tracks. Because like he's the one he's the original one I started the band with. And we all had this like kind of chemistry and stuff. So it was really good. And unfortunately I had to move back to Brazil due to his visa running out and things like that, you know, stuff like that. So it was really sad. He had to go back. And the videographer became our bass player. So the guy who did the video for that, I want to know, that's his job. And he became a bass player. And I thought, that'd be cool. Get a videographer in the band and stuff like that. But and he's the one who's just he was in the band for a couple of years, and you know, he kind of contributed to the record, and you know, he helped out and all that kind of stuff. And unfortunately, he had to leave as well. So yeah, just like one of those things. We've just got Spinal Tap bass players at the moment. So
yeah, he choked on vomit.
Did he?
Yeah, it wasn't his own. I'm joking. He didn't. It wasn't. It was just getting a bit much and wasn't for him. It was just. Do you know what was a bit sad about the whole thing is like he joined just before in like 2019, end of the year, and then 2020 we were just getting ready to do gigs, and like he was in the band for like more than 2 years and only got to play 3 shows at the end, like at the end of the lockdown.
It's just kind of caved at the end.
It's one of those things. You know?
Yeah, that's all right. It's just one of those things. So we've got a chap in called John at the moment, which is great. He's doing the show, so he's been brilliant. Yeah, so we'll see how it goes, you know. Just
is he the bald guy with a great big beard?
Funny like that, you know.
So the bald guy with the big beard, that's Russ. He played on the album, and he was the director for I Want to Know, and Not Enough, the 2 videos that
Great big bushy beard.
Yeah.
And of course,
like
I've got a hats off to him because he's bald, and I love bald people because I hate anybody with hair.
I do it on behalf of my father. Not, you know, who I tell you what, that's karma. Because I tell you what, when I was growing up, he just used to tell me, enjoy your hair because it'll be gone by the time you're 20. And I'm like, still there. You know, it's definitely receded. It's a bit thin, but you know, it's not gone. I did actually shave my head. Like I thought it was going. And then it just started growing again. It was really weird. I don't know what that was.
I hate people like you.
Yeah.
He hates himself too, so don't take it personally.
I pretty much hate everything, to be fair.
Well,
you do that. As you get older, you just end up hating everything, don't you? It's just
True facts.
Anyway, so another interesting thing, another fact that I think our viewers would be interested in knowing is that you do a podcast named The Tracks That Made Us. Can you talk about it for a bit with us?
So the Tracks That Made Us was kind of like, we wanted to do a podcast because we were just like, you know, I think one of the really important ways that you connect with people is if they get to know you a little bit. Do you know, if you just, you know, you're that band that just puts out music, that's great and all. But I think people make really good connections with bands that have personalities. And we've talked about like bands that have had big impacts on us. You know, you talk about like Motley Crue, they were all personality, do you know? You know, we haven't spoken about it on the show, but like Kiss, that, you know, they're a massive influence for me and Drew. And, you know, Gene and Paul have personalities the size of, you know, planets, almost as big as their egos. And, you know, we just thought, well, how can we get people to know us? We thought we'll do a podcast, and The Tracks That Made Us, the concept generally is that we just talk about a song that kind of shaped us as writers. And we finish each episode with, you know, our interpretation. And what was really good, especially during the pandemic, was we did the first few episodes. I think we did the first one we did on a Chris Cornell song called Can't Change Me, which was from his debut solo album Euphoria Morning, which was actually probably for both of us the album that got us into Cornell and got us into Soundgarden. Just purely like the age that we are. And then, you know, we did a few episodes in-house, and then, you know, we were connecting with bands, and people were saying, you know, oh, we like your podcast, you know, we'd like to, you know, come on and talk about a song, and maybe we could do a collaboration. So it actually started a really nice like run, which was a lot easier to do in the lockdown when you had a lot more time on your hands. But we met with loads of different bands from all over the world. Did some awesome like collaborations with them, and yeah, I mean, it has slowed down a little bit. It is pretty full on to try and do. The last
There's a
one we
lot-
did.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, the last one we did. We just went back to the original format. You know, me and Drew. We did "Running Away" by Hoobastank, and yeah, you know, we'll maybe not. You know, we were probably doing like one every 4 weeks at one point, which was a lot of work. You know, we've kind of got to focus on putting out new music, but it's definitely something that we'll revisit once we've like smashed out a few more covers. There's a load of tunes that we'd love to just have a chin wag about, and you know, loads of new people we'd like to get on and talk to them about it with.
But it's great. It kind of connects you, like Rob was saying. Like we got by doing that, you know, like, and Rod's always doing this thing like new week, new music, and sort of trying to discover new bands. And by doing that, it's kind of connected us with loads of bands and from the States, and you know, and locally, and you know, and all these underground sort of, like you were saying, like about the grunge, you know, all these underground bands. There's tons of them, and it's sort of, you know, not necessarily the one that's being played on Planet Rock every 2 seconds, but there's like ones that are just kind of, you know, build it, you know, just doing their thing and being great at it, you know, and so Rod, like on this tour actually, we've been like, you know, Rod's been like getting bands that like that to support us, like at least 2 bands, you know, each go, because it keeps you know, and they love doing it, you know, it's great, you know, it keeps us all in the same kind of sort of sound-ish, and you know, it's good. You know.
So your influences are, clearly you love a little bit of grunge and the 90s grunge scene, and a little bit of new metal in there as well.
Well, it's lots of things. It's like it stems from the 80s all the way up to, you know, I'm a fan of the Beatles, you know what I mean, like songwriting and stuff like that. It's just the music we kind of gravitate towards, you know. I mean, I've got an older brother, so it started off with all the 80s stuff, Bon Jovi, you know, Slippery and Wet was the first album I ever heard, you know, and things like that. And then it turns into kind of like, oh, it's Pantera. It was Maiden as well, big Maiden stuff. And, you know, and then it was Pantera, and then it was like Pearl Jam, and then it was Alice in Chains. You know, it all kind of just, it was an evolution, you know, you just go through it. So it doesn't mean I don't like anything else. It's just that, you know, me and Rod are like massive Kiss fans, you know. And it's like, and we have this debate all the time. Like, I'm an Unmasked fan, and Kiss is and Rod's Unmasked. You know, he likes the makeup era, and I'm like,
go back to your Iron Maiden there. I mean, I'm a big Maiden fan. I always have been, and always will be. Now, the question for you is, because you mentioned the before mask and after mask, or wearing masks. Who's better, Blaze, Bruce, or Paul Di'Anno?
I love Killers. I love Paul Di'Anno. Like Paul Di'Anno, I've met him a few times. He lives in Salisbury at the road. Like I've met him, and I almost got asked. Here you go. Fun fact: I got asked once to do the Paul Di'Anno's Killers band once, and it never happened. But me and my mate Gav, but I would have been his guitarist at one point, like years. This is like years ago, and I've seen him just sound check and stuff in Salisbury, and you just go, wow, he's got that voice, that raspy voice that he's got. But I do like the Bruce era. So my favorite album is Power Slave, but I'm not really I like Number of the Beast, but like Power Slave's my, like, to me that is Iron Maiden. That's like that era with Adrian Smith and, you know, Seventh Son and all around that kind of era, Power Slave and stuff. But Killers is just a banger of a record. Like,
yeah, it is.
I think it's better than some Maiden albums, like, you know, I like Bruce ones, you know, and it certainly stands on its own. I'm not a fan of the first one so much, but I definitely love Killers. I think Killers as an album, it's got Wrathchild, it's got like, I mean, it's, you know, it sort of sound, they're still trying to find their sound a bit, but it's, you know, it's very Deep Purple, you know, they still got that kind of early sort of sound.
Early 60s, isn't it, really?
Yeah, they kind of got their sort of sound, you know, that kind of thing. But as a record, Killers is like really underrated. It goes under the radar a bit. I'm like, that is a banger of a record. Just because it's not Bruce singing on it, it's like that. But I don't like it when Bruce sings it doesn't make
the
sense.
old Killers stuff.
Yeah,
it
doesn't sound right. Like it has to sound right with Paul, you know. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned Salisbury. You are we live in the same area, and we didn't even know it.
Where do you live?
I'm not far from Salisbury itself. I live just the other side of Pewsey. Now, you said Hampshire. So where in Hampshire are you?
I'm in Andover.
Andover. You are literally 16 miles up the road from me.
There you go. I could have come round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now that we know that, I mean, I always offer out my house to any bands that want to come and gig around the area. So I've got a garage, I've got cot beds, I've got food, and I've got a pub 200 meters down the road.
Yeah. Amazing.
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds like
Yeah,
a plan.
get on. And now there was a question that come up earlier from Ravenstone. She lives out in Australia.
Yeah.
Would you go and tour in Australia? Of course you would, because it's Australia.
100%.
Are you likely to look at touring Europe? Or
I would love to, but we would need that. Actually, no. Rod's in touch with. What's the name of the band? It's Poland, isn't it? And you were about
Unfortunate Sons. I think I'm really terrible with band names. You put me on the spot there. I think it's Unfortunate Sons. I'm pretty sure it is, but yeah, they're a Polish grunge band. They're really good. And what we're talking about potentially is going out to Poland, doing a few dates with them, supporting them, and then them flying over and doing, not like a massive tour, but probably like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and doing that over a couple of weekends, one in Poland, one in the UK. So that would probably be our first kind of like putting our toe in the waters of going out. But yeah, we'd love to. I'd love to go out to Australia. I'd love to go to America. But we need to just build on what we've got in the UK. Just do promotion as much as possible. And it is an international market. There's no reason why, with the way you can use social media, you can use Spotify, you can use all of these tools. There is no reason why you can't say, do you know what? Next year we want to go to America and tour, or we want to go to Australia. Like, all you need to do is you need to just build the audience, because that's how it all works. If you can target your music to hit, I don't know, Sydney, Brisbane, Adelaide, and that you'll be able to sell X amount of tickets, whether that's 100, 200 tickets, there is no reason why you couldn't go out there. It's a possibility. It's just, it'd be a dream to do that. It'd be a dream to kind of travel the world and share our music with as many people as possible. That's why we do this. But we've got to kind of take it one step at a time. And I think, looking at going to Poland at the end of the year might be the first steps to kind of, taking the show on the road internationally.
Nice. Now, the question we're going to ask you mentioned covers earlier. Obviously, you're covering. I forgot the band you mentioned. I do apologise.
Ultra Apex.
Ultra Apex.
Yeah.
Doing that. Now, for me, I love covers, especially when people do better jobs than the original artist done as well. Now, what's your favourite covers that, mainstream or underground scene that you've heard that you think, you know what, that is definitely better than the original?
Oh, good shout.
Well, that is a good question. You go, Drew. I'll take more time to think about mine.
I remember like years ago, I think it was it Helmet did a cover of Army of Me or something like that, like the Bjork song. I used to like that. That was really cool. That was real, like, rocking. That was a bit of a weird sort of thing. I'm just trying to think what else. I liked the Genesis cover by
Disturbed.
Disturbed did it. They sort of seem to cover the Sound of Silence as well, didn't they?
Oh, mate, I was going to say Sound of Silence by Disturbed. We can't both say Disturbed.
Yeah, but I was going to go with the Genesis. They were doing Land of Confusion. Did you remember that?
Yeah, because that was that on their first or second album? Because I heard that and I went, I recognise it. Why do I recognise this? And I went, it's Genesis. Because they've also done Shout 2000 as well, which was another cover that they did. Because they seem to put out covers on every album, don't they?
Maybe that's just the way forward.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a tough one. That I remember when GNR did Live and Let Die. That was a bit of a kind of.
Yeah, that's a great cover.
That's a great cover.
That is the definitive version, by the way.
Sorry?
That is the definitive version.
No, I like the Wings version. I like the McCartney version better.
Get out.
It's a bit reggae.
Oh, yeah, if you want to go deeper into that, I don't know. Like, what else is covered? Loads of stuff is covered, mate. That's how bands use Beatles. Half the Beatles and Stones' first albums are covers.
Yeah, true fact. Because obviously they would have played a lot of rhythm and blues at the time as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And Sabbath originally a blues band, and then obviously Tommy did his magic with the guitar and went, I want it a little bit darker. And then we get Sabbath.
They're all covers bands, and then they go,
Yeah.
"Oh, let's write our own stuff." Yeah, exactly.
Tell you what, I've got a good cover. I've got a cover. Take It Punk, Lean on Sheena by the Bouncing Souls. Because I always thought that was an original song, and you know, I'm a little punk rock kid. No, I think that's like their best song.
Mate,
and it turns out it's just some kind of probably in a similar vein to what we're doing with Ultra Apex. They were like, there's this band that we used to love, or that was in their scene that, you know, they wanted to give more exposure to, and they did this song, Lean on Sheena. It's a great tune.
Rod, you missed the ultimate one. What have we missed?
That?
Mate, come on.
God gave rock and roll to you.
Exactly. That's the cover, isn't it? That's by Argent or something. Like, yeah. Have you had the original of that? It's really slow.
Yeah, I have. It's slow, and it's like that. I mean, I couldn't imagine.
He wrote.
I can imagine a deity giving that to people.
He must be meant to.
You mentioned slow. I mean, one of the other brilliant covers that's ever there, and I think even Trent Reznor said that this individual now owns that track, was Johnny Cash's Hurt. I mean, Trent Reznor and 9 Inch Nails did that. It was a brilliant track when it first came out, and then Johnny Cash took hold of it and did his magic. And you're like, wow. I mean, the song's full of emotion anyway, but when Johnny sings it like that, fuck my life, this is absolutely
Have you seen the
brilliant.
video? Have you seen the video that he did for that? It just works so well with it, of like all the footage of the old Johnny Cash museum and like the town basically being destroyed, like just falling to pieces. I tell you what though, like what's really underrated, there was actually a version before Johnny Cash, and it was a duet. It was Trent Reznor and David Bowie doing Hurt, and that was actually really, really good too. I think it was might have been on the Downward Spiral tour, but that version I thought was great as well.
So you just mentioned David. Say it again.
David Bowie.
Thank you. Everyone else. Last week we had an argument about how to say David Bowie's name.
If it's Bowie or Bowie.
No, it's not Bowie. It hasn't got a double O in it, so it can't be Bowie, can it?
Bowie, innit?
It's David Bowie.
Bowie. It's not Bowie. Some people say Bowie, don't they?
Some people say Bowie, but that's not how he said it. He said, "My name's David Bowie," you know, like that. That's
Anyway, I have a question for you. I need you to give me like a guilty pleasure song.
Guilty pleasure song, possibly "Call Me Maybe" by Carly Rae Jepsen. I think that's
really.
Or "What Is Love" by Hadaway. That's a good guilty pleasure.
Great song.
Mine's Seal, "Kiss from a Rose," because it's a banger.
Mate, classic. I was actually listening to the Batman Forever soundtrack yesterday.
You've got the Batman Forever. Have you had the Prince soundtrack, the first one?
Yeah, it's mental. Brilliant, but mental.
Oh, what was the song from Night at the Roxbury?
Yeah, that was "What Is Love."
Yeah, that's it.
That was just played over and over again in that movie.
Yeah.
Brilliant song. Will Ferrell and was it not Jimmy Fallon?
No, it's wait.
Squeaky Little Hamster guy.
Yeah,
I know.
Something like
Anyway.
I can never remember who that other guy is.
But everyone knows Will Ferrell because that's probably his most it was his break into, was it, apart from Saturday Night Live? But what a great film.
I love the parody with Jim Carrey though.
Yeah. That
was awesome.
Yeah. And it's a great song, and it's one that I was in the gym earlier this week, and it come on, and it was actually a cover of the original song. I was like, yeah, that don't sound right. However, as soon as I heard it, I was like, yeah, Night at the Roxbury.
Yeah.
But it's not the original, and I don't like it. It doesn't sit with me. And it was basically toned down. It was more acoustic than it was dance, I guess. And I was like, yeah, that's just not right. That you've just ruined it. Get off. Go away.
Get out.
Yeah, get out.
Well, guys, I think that maybe we kind of reached the end of the show. So before we sign off with who you are, I would like to give you the opportunity to shamelessly plug whatever you want.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
No pun intended.
We're playing next week. We're in Newcastle and Nottingham, so come down. We're playing Trillions in Newcastle. Is that on Wednesday or Thursday, Rod?
Would you like me to do the gigs? Just because I can fire them off.
Yeah, go on then.
Right, come down and see the show to end all shows. It's, of course, Just a Ride playing. Now, if you fancy coming to see 25 minutes of just pure rock fury, I don't want to sound like an arsehole or anything, but, when you're an emerging band and you're a support band, what you want to do is you want to lay down a statement, and that's what we'll be doing at all of our support shows. We just want, we want people to come in and go, I want to hear some more. So we're doing 2 support shows. First one is 22nd, Tuesday, 22nd of March. That's in Nottingham, and that is going to be supporting the Timeouts. Also, there is going to be Stereotyped. They're both on Grunge Pop Records. So, hopefully, the unsigned Just a Ride might pull up a few trees at that gig. Fingers crossed. Then the next night, we're in Newcastle. We're going to be headlining, and we're taking the Timeouts out with us up there, up to Trillions. That's on the 23rd. Then the week afterwards, we're going to be down in London supporting the Crooked 45 at the New Cross Inn. The weekend doesn't have to end. You can just carry on partying all through Monday. Just keep drinking and just meet us there at the New Cross Inn. We'll be smashing out again another support set that's going to knock people's socks off. And then we're going to be going north of the border on the 30th, which is the Wednesday. We're going to be in Edinburgh. Playing at Bannerman's, and then on 31st we're going to be at the 13th Note in Glasgow with and both of those gigs in Scotland are going to be with Royal Bloom and the Timeouts. So we're going to have an epic time. We'd love to see as many of you there as possible. Tickets are available from if you go onto our social media and click on our link in bio, all the gigs are there. It's really
just rideBand.com. Really it will take you to all that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, take you all there. And our album's out. Like, there's 2 ways you can support us. Number one, just if you're a Spotify person, go on Spotify, give us a follow so that our new music comes straight to you on release day. And, listen to the album. Let us know what you think. Connect with us on our social media. We're really big on Instagram mainly, but we're across all the social medias. That's Just a Ride Band on Instagram. And connect with us, have a check out on YouTube. We've got all our podcasts, we've got all our videos. Yeah, kind of just join our community. Listen to the record. And if you really, really love it and you really, really want to support us, buy a CD, buy a t-shirt. Again, that's all at justarrideband.com. And actually this is one thing that's really cool actually about when you buy our CD. So no matter where you are in the world, we do ship the CDs. But we do understand, obviously, shipping does take some time. So when you order our album, you get the MP3s emailed to you immediately. So you can enjoy the album from the second that you make the purchase. And then your physical copy will arrive shortly in the mail.
Wow.
And, I'll post them all myself. I've got envelopes.
That was great. I couldn't
not just rideBand.com, it's just rideBand.com. So you've got that wrong there. And that will link you to everything.
Just a Ride Band.
Just rideBand.com.
Band.com. Okay.
Yeah.
But that was great though, because I couldn't even tell you were reading out of a prompter. So that was great.
I wasn't reading out of a prompter. I was just
got a good brain.
I was just speaking from
Hey, there we go. That's the one.
Just kidding, Rod. Just kidding.
Well, actually, I'll just say one thing. My dream job wasn't actually to be in a band. I always wanted to be on one of those shopping channels. And I just wanted to be on TV and just be like, this microphone is 1 in a million. This is the microphone, the only microphone that you're ever going to need. Because I really, really enjoy the fact that those people can just talk about this inanimate object forever. They just talk until they've sold them all. And I think that's the most incredible thing. There's no hesitation. There's no deviation. There's barely any repetition. They just think about amazing uses for a Shure SM58. I'd love an endorsement.
Maybe that's what we need to do. Just do a 20.
I mean, that went on for a good 30 odd seconds there. I want to buy your fucking microphone.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Listen to that, Shure. Because I tell you what, I am a bit more of a Rode and a Sennheiser fan. So you are going to have to win me back. But I do use the Shure SM58 live at all gigs. I don't think there's a better microphone. I don't think there's a better microphone for performances or a more iconic one. I mean, everybody uses these, from Freddie Mercury to John Bon Jovi to Taylor Swift. I don't know if that's all true. Fact check me. Go on, I dare you.
But the fact that you could probably sell ice to a bloody Eskimo, point in case.
I used to do that professionally. It was horrible. Soul destroying.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say thank you very much for coming on, gents. It's been an absolute pleasure.
No worries.
And I've loved your music. It's brilliant. So everybody out there, if you don't go and buy their album, don't go and support them. I'm going to eat your soul. Bob's going to eat your face. And Ina, she'll turn you to stone. So just go and do it now. Go and support these bands. Go and give them your love. Go and give your support. And spread the music. It's not so much like the old days with cassettes, but spread their music and love.
Cool. We'll drop us a line. We'll go for a beer.
Yeah. I'm definitely doing that since we're only 16 miles up the road.
Okay, I have a last thing I want to say before we listen to Who You Are. Before signing off, I'd like to say, go stalk these guys on social media. Just a Ride. Look them up. Plus, we have a lot of kick-ass shows coming up in the next few days. We have tomorrow the Delinquents Ball on Near Demon Radio. We have on Friday, we have Metal Moose radio show. Yeah, with Jace right here. And on Friday, we have a great band, Forever May Fall, on Talking with Demons. On Saturday, we have Mountain Eye on Talking with Demons also. And we have the Bob Bones Show. And we have House of Pain. And
I'm everywhere.
yeah, you're everywhere. And that's about it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are going to listen to Who You Are. You're not going anywhere. You
Stay
should
right
wait
where
for
you are,
us
you two.
backstage. Don't go anywhere
Yeah. No
after the
worries.
video. So thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. It was a blast.
No dick and balls out tonight, though.
No,
Yeah.
sorry about that.
Hey, well, I mean, you know, I just wanted to leave something dangling so that we can return for part 2.
Yeah. You were
Yeah,
quite
definitely
decent
have one again.
tonight, I guess, because we don't want the viewers to feel like,
Yeah, but
we're
they
kind
weren't
of
expecting with this
easing
show.
them
Come on.
in. Yeah.
Rod, your lighting is so good. It's just like it's
Thank
amazing.
you, mate. I actually just thought it, you know, talking about like, you know, showing our genitals or whatever, it does remind me of the red light district, you know, as a former Amsterdam resident. And maybe this is why I picked it.
I mean,
feel like
it was
you're on an episode of
to be
Crime
fair,
Watch.
it's a little bit pinker. It's more like being inside the womb.
Yeah. Although actually something, just a word of advice for anybody going out to Amsterdam. If the light is purple as opposed to the red, that means that you might get different genitalia to what you might outwardly be expecting.
Thank you for that.
Is that from experience?
Good to know.
Well, actually, us residents, we used to, like, the joke was people would ask you what the purple light meant. It just means they're extra dirty.
I'm never drinking again. Who ordered the shots? Whoever ordered the shots, you're not my friend anymore. Oh, I gotta poop.
Amazing.
Yeah, plus, if you feel overwhelmed, you can always use your safe word, Jace.
Veet. Let's get some Veet on, boss. Oh, he's panicking now. He's trying to find it.
Are you trying to find the video?
He's trying to find the video. You let us down, boss. You let us down. So what we'll do before we go out, thank you very much for viewing, ladies and gentlemen out there. Thank you, Drew and Rod from Just a Ride for coming on.
Thanks for having us on.
Absolute
Pleasure.
blast. What we're going to do is play your last song, Who
All right.
You Are.
Great stuff.
And we'll see you.
Tune in, but nothing's on. Only an echo of the same repeated. Stay calm and carry on. What lies in the belly of the overfeasted?